Hello guys and welcome to my channel Knowledge Selection. So in this video we are going to discuss the installation of a rooftop solar PV system at your home, which is gonna make your electricity bill plus the running cost of your electric vehicle zero. The important points we are going to discuss and calculate are: first of all, we are going to calculate what is the power of solar PV system that you will need, then how much rooftop area you will need to install the required solar PV system to meet your demands. Then we are going to calculate the rooftop solar panel installation cost, and I am going to show you an actual quotation of it. Then we will going to see what will be your per month savings and what will be the return on investment. But before starting this video, if you haven't checked out my previous video, I first request you to watch that first. You can see the icon on the top right corner. You can click on that and check it out, or the link is in the description also. So in my previous video, I have explained that can you run Tata Nexon EV using solar power, in which what we have done is we have installed a solar panel on the top of Tata Nexon EV, and we are powering the electric vehicle's battery through the solar panels, and we have checked that it is feasible to do so or not. And we have also calculated that how much range you can add by doing this kind of setup, right? So if you have already watched this video, you might be knowing that this is not a very practical and feasible setup. The more efficient way to charge your electrical vehicle is to install a rooftop solar panel system at your home. So in this video, we are going to discuss that only. So first of all, you have to calculate your total electricity consumption, which I have divided into two parts. The first part is by your home appliances, that is all the electricity consumed at your home, and the another is by your electric vehicle. Okay. Now let's first see the electricity consumption by your home appliances. So suppose you are consuming 300 units of electricity per month. Some might be consuming less than 300 units, some might be consuming more than 300 units, 500, 600 units also. But I am taking on an average because at my home I am consuming 300 units of electricity per month. You can check how much units are consuming by checking your electricity bill, right? But understand how the calculations are done. You can change the numbers according to you. So I'm taking the electricity consumption per month is equal to 300 units, right? So my per day consumption will be 10 units, 300 by 30, right? Now this 1 unit is nothing but a simple way of saying 1 kilowatt hour. Now let's understand what this 1 kilowatt hour means. If you are running an appliance of 1 kilowatt power for 1 hour, then the electricity consumed by that appliance will be 1 unit, because 1 kilowatt times 1 hour is 1 kilowatt hour, that is nothing but 1 unit, right? Now the electricity consumption by your electrical vehicle, so for that I am taking here Tata Nexon EV for the calculation purpose. So as we know that the battery capacity of Tata Nexon EV is 30.2 kilowatt hour, right? And the real world range is around 250 kilometers. Now some are getting even less than 250 and some are getting more than 250 also. So it all depends upon how efficient you are driving and where you are driving, what are the driving conditions. So this may vary, but for an average value I am taking the 250 kilometers as an average, right? So this 30.2 kilowatt hour battery can give me a range of 250 kilometers, right? So for 250 kilometers, I can say that 30.2 kilowatt hour of battery is consumed. So for 1 kilometer, I can calculate that is 30.2 divided by 250, that is 0.1208 kilowatt hour of battery is consumed. So suppose you are driving your EV for about 30 kilometers per day on an average. Now you might drive less than 30 kilometers also, more than 30 kilometers also, but for an average, I am taking 30 kilometers per day you are driving. So per day your EV battery will require 30 times 0.1208. 0.1208 is for 1 kilometer, right? And you are driving 30 kilometers. So your per day electrical vehicle battery will require 30 times 0.1208, that is 3.624 kilowatt hour of energy. So if you calculate your total electricity consumed per day, including your electricity consumption at your home, per day at your home, and electricity consumption per day by your EV. So as we have discussed, electricity consumed per day at your home was 10 units or 10 kilowatt hour, right? Because my monthly consumption was 300 units, so divided by 30, 10. And the electricity consumed just now we have calculated is 3.624 per day kilowatt hour of energy for your electrical vehicle. So if we add those two, so 10 plus 3.624 is nothing but 13.624 kilowatt hour of energy. So let's round it off and take it 14 kilowatt hour or 14 units. So in one day you are consuming 14 units of electricity. That means your total electricity requirement for one day by your home appliances and your electrical vehicle included is 14 units. So now if you want to meet all of your electricity demand by your solar PV system, then you will need a solar PV system that can generate 14 kilowatt hour of energy in one day. Alright, so now if you see the average sunshine per day, I am taking it to be 4 hours. Now what do you mean by this average sunshine per day? It means that in one day you are getting 4 hours of sunlight at your place, right? Now it may vary, it depends on what is your location. So at some places you might even get more than 4 hours of sunlight, and some places you might even get less than 4 hours of sunlight. So on an average I am taking the average sunshine per day, that is 4 hours, right? So in this 4 hours your PV system should generate 14 kilowatt hour of electricity, because solar PV system requires sunlight to generate electricity. Or I can say you will need 14 kilowatt hour divided by 4 hours, that is 3.5 kilowatt of solar PV system. Okay, let me explain you this whole part once again. So till here you might have understood, right, that we require 14 units or 14 kilowatt hour of electricity per day. So our solar PV system should generate 14 kilowatt hour of electricity if we want that all of our electricity demand should be met by solar energy, right? Now I am saying that on an average I am getting 4 hours of sunlight on my area per day. Now since the solar PV system requires sunlight and we have to generate this 14 kilowatt hour of electricity from a solar system, so we have only 4 hours of sunlight. So in this 4 hours we have to generate 14 kilowatt hour of electricity, right? This is statement I am just saying in another way, that if I am having a solar PV system of 3.5 kilowatt and I am running it for 4 hours, so 3.5 multiplied by 4, that will be equal to 14 kilowatt hour, which is my requirement. So therefore understand how I am getting this 3.5 kilowatt hour. I need 14 kilowatt hour of electricity and I can run my system for 4 hours. So if I divide this two, I am getting 3.5 kilowatt of solar PV system. I hope that you have understood this calculation. Now we understood how much power of solar system do we need, right? Now before installing our solar PV system, we have to understand that there are two types of solar PV system. Okay. The first is on-grid solar PV system and the second is off-grid solar PV system. There is a third one also, that is called hybrid solar PV system, which is nothing but the combination of both, right? So let's first see what is an on-grid solar PV system. So in an on-grid solar PV system, as you can see this diagram, so as you can see, we have installed the solar panels on the rooftop of our home and we are generating electricity through these solar panels and we are sending it to the inverter. This inverter converts the DC current to the alternating current, right? And this inverter is sending this electricity to the meter and this meter is connected to the grid also. Now whatever electricity we are generating, we can take that electricity to our home also, right? For running our appliances or charging our EV, that is self-use. But what if we generate excess electricity? So suppose today I only require 10 units of electricity, but I have generated 14 units of electricity. So where that 4 unit will go? That 4 unit will go to the grid, right? So I am sending my electricity that is generated on the solar panels on the rooftop from the inverter that is converting DC current to AC current through the meter to the grid. So my solar panels are indirectly connected to the grid, right? That's why it is called an on-grid solar PV system. Also suppose today I have only generated 10 units of electricity, but I require 14 units of electricity. So I have generated 4 units less today. So where that 4 units will come? That 4 units I can take from the grid, right? So basically this is called the concept of net metering, in which whatever excess electricity you are generating, you can send it to the grid. And if you have generated less amount of electricity, then you can also take electricity from the grid. Also your electricity bill will be adjusted like that only. So if you are generating more electricity than you are consuming and you are sending the excess electricity to the grid, then whatever excess amount of electricity that you are sending to the grid, the cost of that electricity will be subtracted from your electricity bill. And suppose you require 14 units of electricity at your home and you can generate 10 units through your solar panels, then your electricity bill will be only for that 4 units that you are taking from the grid, right? So this is the concept of net metering, which is applicable only on grid solar PV system. Now let's understand what happens in an off-grid solar PV system. As you can see, there is no grid connection and the solar panels that we are using to generate electricity from our rooftop, we are sending the electricity through a charge controller to the battery bank. Now whatever electricity we are generating here, we are storing that in our battery bank, right? There is no requirement for any grid connection. And then whatever electricity we have stored in this battery, we can use this electricity to run our home appliances, right? Again, an inverter is used to convert this DC current through this battery bank to the AC supply to our home, right? Now both the system have their advantages and disadvantages. The main disadvantage of an all-grid solar PV system is that if the power is sometimes cut in the grid due to some maintenance or any other reason, your PV system will be shut off automatically. Because if some person is maintaining something on the line and you are still generating your electricity and sending it to the grid, then that person might get electrocuted, right? So the working of a solar system depends upon the working of the grid. If the grid is on maintenance, then a solar panels will not be able to generate any power output. The advantage I have already told, that it will help you to reduce electricity bill because of that net metering concept. Similarly, the advantage of an off-grid solar PV system is that you don't have to depend upon the grid. You are producing your own electricity, you are storing your own electricity in your batteries, and you are powering your home or charging your electrical vehicle through your own produced electricity through these batteries, right? So there is no role of grid and your electricity bill will be zero. Also, this system has a drawbacks like that you have to purchase the battery bank, which is very expensive, and the replacement cost will also be gonna high. Also, the government is supporting the on-grid solar PV system and they are providing various subsidies on this system. And many people are actually preferring this on-grid solar PV system only because sometimes due to cloudy weather or not having sufficient sunlight, even if I am not able to meet my electricity demand through my solar module, I can always take it from the grid. But there is no such system on this off-grid solar PV system. So on some days, if you are not able to generate the electricity that we require, then there will be no power in our home. Alright, so in this video we are going to do the calculations for an on-grid solar PV system. Okay, so after choosing what type of solar PV system I need, I have to first check that if I am having the roof area which is required for installing this 3.5 kilowatt of solar PV system. Because if I don't have sufficient area on my roof, then I will not be able to install this system, right? Now before installing this system, we first have to select what type of solar panels should we choose, which would be the best and the most efficient for our application. Okay, so if you have seen my previous video, you might be knowing about this site vikramsolar.com, which is a complete India based site and all the products are also made in India. So in my previous video I have shown how to choose your solar panels and what is the meaning of all the terms related to the solar panels. But it's okay, I can explain that once again. Okay, so those who have watched my previous video, they can skip this part as I'm going to explain the same thing, how to choose the solar panels and all. So if you want, you can skip this part. But those who have not watched my previous video, you have to watch it. So first of all, you have to understand that there are two types of solar panels present in the market. The first is monocrystalline and the second is polycrystalline. If you want to know the difference between those two, so if you see a monocrystalline panel and a polycrystalline panel, if you compare in terms of efficiency, the efficiency of monocrystalline panels is always high. They have an efficiency of about 17 to 20%, whereas polycrystalline have an efficiency of about 13 to 16%. Design and looks is not too much important for us. The space requirement is important for us because monocrystalline panels occupies less rooftop space as compared to polycrystalline panels. And the performance is also better for the monocrystalline panels because they perform better even in low lights. And the price is expensive, but it's okay, we'll focus more on the performance and the space and the efficiency factor. So in order to get the maximum power output and high efficiency, we have to choose a monocrystalline panels. Okay. Alright, now let's open this site. So in the top left corner, if you see, there are modules, right? So in this option, you can see monofacial and bifacial, two types of modules. Monofacial means that the solar cells are present only on one face of the panel, and bifacial means that the solar cells are present on both the face of the panel. So if you want to visualize, so in this picture, the solar cells are there on the top surface only, which is the sun facing surface. But if we also put the solar panels below the surface of these panels, that is the ground facing surface, then it is called a bifacial. Okay, bifacial module. Alright, so for our application, we are choosing this monofacial cells. Now inside this monofacial module, you can see four types of modules that they are offering, right? So if you want, you can check all these modules. So I've already done that. And if you want the best efficiency and best power output and suitable for our application, then we have to go for Somera Series 6 half cell 156, Somera Series 6 156. Now understand what is this half cell. If you see in this Somera second option, you can see a full cell, okay, 72. Full cell 72 means that the solar panel consists of 72 complete full cells, right? And if you cut this 72 full cells in half, then you will get this half cell 144. So it consists of 72 cells cut in half, therefore total 144 cells, and hence it is called half cell because we are cutting them, right? In terms of power output, half cell can provide better power output than full cells because half cell has less power loss. So the best model which you can get from this site is Somera Series 6 half cell 156, this one. So let's click on this. So if you want to know more about this module, you can click here on the specification sheet of this Solar Series 6 156, right? So I have already downloaded the specification sheet, as you can see here. Now let's understand some important terms related to this solar module, okay? So first of all, we have to check that it is a monocrystalline solar PV module. Monocrystallines are more efficient and have better performance, right? As we have seen, it consists of 156 half cells, okay? And it can produce a power output in the range of 475 to 505 watt, okay? Now here you can see these are having an efficiency of up to 21.02%, okay? That's very good. And it can produce a power up to 505 watt. Now let's see the technical data. So here you can see the electrical data, but before understanding this electrical data, you first have to see this. There's a small thing here where it is written that all data refers to STC. Now STC is nothing but standard test conditions. If you see the parameters in the standard test conditions, the air mass is 1.5, the solar irradiance is 1000 watt per meter square, and the temperature is taken to be a constant of 25 degrees centigrade. Now as you know that in your area or in your region, the temperature will not always be 25 degrees centigrade, nor the solar radiation will always be 100 watt per meter square, okay? So therefore, for a more realistic conditions, if you want to see the data for a more realistic condition, real world conditions, therefore there is a concept of NOCT. This is nothing but normal operating cell temperature. So whatever electrical parameters you are checking at NOCT, it will provide you a more realistic world conditions. So we are going to focus on these parameters at NOCT. So if you see the powers, it is ranging from 351.5 to 373.7 watts, right? So for our calculation, we are taking the average value 362.6, okay? The another important thing that you have to consider is the length, width and height of the solar module. So you can see the length is 2.288 meters, 1.050 meters and the height is 40 mm, right? Also, if you are installing any solar module, you should check that how much warranty it is providing, right? So here you can see they are providing 27 years of linear power output warranty. Now you have to understand how this 27 years are divided. So for that you can see here in the below warranty and certifications. So your product warranty is only of 10 years and the performance warranty is of 27 years with 3% efficiency loss for first year degradation that you can say, and 0.65% degradation from year 2 to 27, right? That means in the first year the efficiency loss can be up to 3% and then up to 0.65% for the consecutive years. Up to 27 years they are providing the performance warranty and the product warranty is only for 10 years. So normally all the solar modules come with up to 25 years of warranty, right? Now let's move ahead with our calculations. So the power output per module of our chosen solar panels is 362.6 watt, okay? As we have seen here, we are taking this average value 362.6 at NOCT condition, right? The power output. Now the power required by us was 3.5 kilowatt, right? Or I can say 3500 watt. So we were requiring a 3.5 kilowatt system. So how much number of modules we require? We require 3500 watt divided by power output of one module, that is 362.6 watt. So we will require 9.65, that is 10 such modules to produce a power output of 3.5 kilowatt. Now if you want to calculate the area of one module, you have to just multiply the length into breadth, which we have seen here, alright, 2288 times 1050 mm. So the per module area comes to be 2.4 meter square. Now the area of 10 such modules will be 10 times of 2.4, that is 24 square meters or 260 square feet if you want to visualize in square feet. So I will say that the rooftop area required at your home for installing your 3.5 kilowatt solar PV system should be at least 300 square feet, okay? Because you always should take some margin, right? There should also be some space left after you have installed your solar system, right? Okay, so now let's move ahead to the another important factor. What will be your cost of installation? Okay. So recently only one of my friend had installed this rooftop solar PV system at his home. So I requested him to share his quotation for that. So these here what you can see is the quotation given to him. So as you can see, he is installing a solar system of size 2.97 kilowatt. Whereas in our case we are installing 3.5 kilowatt system, right? The power output for the solar modules is 330 watts and he have to install 9 such modules, okay? Because 2.97 kilowatt he requires and one module is providing 330. So 2.97 kilowatt divided by 0.33 kilowatt, that comes to be 9, okay? Now what is this solar generation per month approx, that is 356.4. So now let's understand this. So solar generation per month approx is nothing but how much electricity your solar system can generate per month. So we can calculate this as, okay, so the power output of one module is 330 watts and there are 9 such modules. So this is the total power output. Now if I divide it by 1000, this is the total power output in kilowatts, right? 330 into 9 was only watts. If I divide it by 1000, it will become kilowatt, right? Now in one day, they are taking 4 hours of sunshine. So they are saying that the sunlight is available only for 4 hours per day. And if you calculate for 1 month, we just have to multiply it by 30. So this value is nothing but 356.4 kilowatt hour, which is nothing but your solar generation per month approx 356.4. Okay, so this is how it is calculated. By the way, my friend who shared this quotation lives in Gujarat. So this quotation for rooftop solar system is of Gujarat, right? So now here you can see rate per kilowatt is 41,992 or approximately 42,000. So his solar rooftop system amount rupees 1,24,716. So which is nothing but this 42,000 times 2.97, okay? Because per kilowatt is 42,000 and he is installing a system of 2.97 kilowatt, okay? Now this is very important to understand the subsidy provided by the government, right? So for that, let me tell you that up to 3 kilowatt, if you are installing a system of up to 3 kilowatt, you will get a 40% subsidy. And if you are installing a system of more than 3 kilowatts, up to 10 kilowatts, you will get 20% subsidy. And more than 10 kilowatts, you will get no subsidy. Now let me explain this more clearly. So my friend is installing a system of 2.97 kilowatts, right? Which is less than 3 kilowatt. So he will get a subsidy of 40%, okay? Now we are installing a system of 3.5 kilowatts. So understand how this subsidy works. So this 3.5 kilowatts, we can divide it as 3 kilowatts and 0.5 kilowatts, right? So now I will get 40% subsidy on this 3 kilowatts plus I will also get this 20% subsidy on this 0.5 kilowatts. Okay. It's not like my system is above 3.5 kilowatts, so I will get only 20%. I will get 40% up to 3 kilowatts and the amount exceeding 3 kilowatts, I will get 20% subsidy. right? I hope you understand this. And we are going to calculate this once again, don't worry. So I will explain there also. Okay, so let's now see the quotation again. So as we can see that my friend's system is 2.97 kilowatt, that is less than 3 kilowatt. So he is getting a subsidy of 40%, that is amounting to rupees 49,886. So the total amount after excluding the subsidy and including the GST is coming to be 74,830. Also, you have to pay this 18,000 for this elevated structures and premium quality of BOS. BOS nothing but balance of system, which consists of all the inverters and cables and wires and those things. Elevated structures means the frame on which your solar panels will be installed. So all that is amounting to rupees 18,000. So his net total amount for 2.97 kilowatt is coming to rupees 92,830. And these are the payment terms. You can check this if you want. And these are all the required documents. So if you want, you can pause this video and check all these things. So now what we are going to do is we are going to calculate the cost of our solar PV system, right? Because our power requirement is 3.5 kilowatt, okay? Now as we have seen, the cost per kilowatt was 42,000, okay? As you can see here, it was around 41,992, that is 42,000, okay? Now it is almost same in all states. It is not like it is 42,000 in Gujarat and 30,000 in Maharashtra, no. It is approximately around 42,000 in all the states. So the cost per kilowatt is 42,000 and our power requirement is 3.5 kilowatt. So the cost of our solar rooftop will be 3.5 times 42,000, that is amounting to rupees 1,47,000. Now understand how the subsidy amount is calculated. Okay, I have already told you this. So total 3.5 kilowatt system we are having. So for 3 kilowatt, we will get a 40% subsidy. That can be calculated as we are having 3 kilowatt system and per kilowatt is 42,000. So for my 3 kilowatt system, this is my cost and I am getting a 40% subsidy. That means I am getting a subsidy of 50,400, right? Now also the remaining 0.5 kilowatts, because we are having a system of 3.5 kilowatts, right? So this is my subsidy on 3 kilowatts and another 0.5 kilowatts, which is 0.5 more than 3 kilowatt, we will get another 20% subsidy. That is 0.5 kilowatt I am having, 42,000 is my per kilowatt cost and 20% subsidy I am getting, that is amounting to rupees 4,200, right? So my total subsidy amount is coming to be 50,400 plus 4,200, that is 54,600. So the cost of our solar rooftop system after subsidy will be 1,47,000 minus this subsidy 54,600, that is coming to be around 92,400. Now again, that elevated structures and premium quality of balance of system, inverters, wires, all that I have talked about, and including the GST, that is 18% extra. So I'm taking the same amount as rupees 18,000 as they have mentioned here, right? You can see here elevated structures and premium quality of BOS 18,000, right? So it will be around that only. Okay, so now if I will calculate, the total cost of installation of 3.5 kilowatt solar PV system is coming to be around 92,400 plus this 18,000, that is amounting to rupees 1,10,400. So this is the total cost that you have to pay to install a solar PV system of 3.5 kilowatt, right, at your home. Now let's calculate what will be our return on investment, which means in how many years I can recover my money which I am paying for this installation of this solar PV system, right? So before installing solar PV system, my per month electricity consumption at home was 300 units or 300 kilowatt hour, I can say. And suppose that per day you are driving your electrical vehicle for 30 kilometers. So per month you are driving for 900 kilometers, right? Now as I have mentioned earlier, the battery capacity of Tata Nexon EV is 30.2 kilowatt hour. And I am taking the real world range to be 250 kilometers on an average. It may vary for you also because it depends upon how efficient you can drive. So I can say that on an average 250 kilometers require 30.2 kilowatt hour of energy, right? So 900 kilometers, that is how much I am driving per month, right? 900 kilometers. So per month 900 kilometers I will require 30.2 divided by 250 times 900, that is 108.72 kilowatt hour of energy. So if I calculate my monthly electricity consumption of my electrical vehicle, it comes to be 108.72, okay? So if I will calculate now my total monthly electricity consumption, in which I am including my home electricity consumption plus my electrical vehicle electricity consumption. So per month at my home I am consuming 300 units or 300 kilowatt hour, and per month for my electrical vehicle I am consuming 108.72 kilowatt hour, right? So that will be equal to the total electricity consumption is 408.72 kilowatt hour. Now I am taking the cost of electricity per unit or per kilowatt hour, I can say, as rupees 7. Now this value rupees 7 might vary for you also because the electricity rates are different in different states, and it also depends upon how much total electricity you are consuming per month. So this number you can check in your electricity bill. So for calculation I am taking the cost of electricity per unit as rupees 7, okay? So now if I calculate my per month electricity bill, so I am consuming total of 408.72 units times rupees 7 per unit, that comes to be 2861.04 rupees, okay? So this was before installing solar system. Now after installing this solar PV system of 3.5 kilowatt hour, I am able to completely fulfill the electricity demand of my house plus my electrical vehicle, right? Because we have calculated the system size, that is 3.5 kilowatt hour, according to which we can completely fulfill our electricity demand. So now we have made our electricity bill plus the running cost of my electrical vehicle, which I am charging from a home rooftop solar PV system, is equals to zero. So now you can save your complete amount what used to be your per month electricity bill, right? Because this value is becoming zero, so you are saving this much amount of money now. So on an average, approximately you can save 2800 rupees per month. Now if I calculate the return on investment, so return on investment is nothing but total amount spent on my installation divided by the savings per month. Okay. Now as we have seen that the total money that we have installed for the installation was 1,10,400, right? And per month saving, now just now we have calculated that it is 2861.04. So if I divide those two, it is coming to be 38.58, or I can say 39 months, or we can write this as 3 years 3 months. So my return on investment is 3 years and 3 months. So in this 3 years and 3 months, the money which I have initially spent on the installation of solar PV system will be recovered. And after this period of 3 years 3 months, you will begin to save rupees 2861.04 per month. And basically you are running your electrical vehicle plus all your home appliances free of cost. Now understand that there might be some cloudy days on which you will not be able to generate that much amount of electricity which you require. So you can also take some electricity from your grid, right? And on some days like summer, suppose it is very hot and you are getting a high amount of sunlight for 5 to 6 hours, then you can also generate more than what you require. So in this way, overall, the electricity bill for you will always be close to zero. And now if you want to know about the maintenance of the solar modules, so there is actually no such hard maintenance required. You just have to clean the solar panels twice or thrice a week. That's it. And you are already getting 25 years of warranty with the solar module, right? So this is actually a very great deal. I know initially that you have to invest 1,10,400 rupees, but in 3 years, 3 months, all your money will be recovered. And think about how much you can save after that. So 1 month your savings are 2,861. Think about 1 year, think about 10 years, right? Also, each and every unit of electricity that you are generating is coming from a renewable resource, right? So you are also contributing to save our environment from pollution. Whatever electricity that you are generating and consuming is totally clean and pollution free. So I will suggest you all that if you have all the requirements for installing a rooftop solar PV system, and if you are also having an electrical vehicle or you are planning to buy an electrical vehicle, then take this installation of PV system at your home. It will be very beneficial for you, right? Okay, so that's it for this video guys. So thanks for watching, and if you have learned something, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And guys, as you know that this is a new channel, so each and every like and subscribe is very encouraging for me and gives me motivation to keep on making this type of videos. So if you have learned at least something, then please considering liking and subscribing to my channel. Okay, thank you.